Hello everyone, welcome to our Grow Money Trading Analysis session, our weekly session wherein we go over the major indexes and stocks that are requested by the GMT members who are on the call and the community members who have requested through the chats. So we will start off with the major indexes in the US first. Uh, to begin with the SPX index, what I have here is weekly and daily chart side by side. And starting with the weekly chart, we see the last week trade, trading candle. The market has had a bullish move. Uh, it closed the it closed above the resistance that we had discussed in the uh, last week, above 5960, and it has touched 6000 on the closing. We look at the indicators. Williams R is in overbought region. RSI is over 50, is still in the upward or a bullish direction, and has not reached the overbought region yet, which shows that the index still has some upside. If we look on the daily chart, on the daily chart, it had a high over 6000, and the upper Bollinger Band, which is close to 6050. Uh, Based on the upward price rejection on small week that it has formed in the last session, there was some profit booking happening. But with the upper Bollinger Band at 6048, and since the market has taken above the resistance that we had discussed in the last week, there's a small upside here. Although the Williams R is in overbought region, RSI is at 65, and usually around 70 is when we see the correction or the reversal happens for SPX. So from the daily chart, there's a small upside before it could correct. Vivek sir, do you have a different view or opinion?
No, I mean, continue. I'll come in whenever I'm ready.
Sure.
Currently, you're on the right track.
All right. Thank you, sir. So in terms of SPX, if you are trading either the index or stocks which are tracked by S&P 500, in the initial sessions of this week, we can see some small upside, probably on Monday and Tuesday. And then, since the indicators would be in overbought condition, we can expect the correction happening later in the later part of the week. If we look at NDX, which is Nasdaq 100 index, kind of a similar move. It almost formed a bullish engulfing, uh, not entirely, but if we consider the wick, which uh, had almost the same price when it opened in the previous week, and then it has moved further up, which shows uh, bullish sentiment. The RSI again is over 50, is upwards, indicating the market can move further up on the weekly trend. Williams R is in overbought region, and if the market continues up, Williams R would tend to be in the overbought region. In terms of profit booking, what we see on the daily chart slightly different from what we are seeing on SPX daily chart is that it has formed a red candle in the last two sessions, and the last candle is doji. The high on Thursday's candle was close to 21,890 or 21,900, and the upper Bollinger Band is at 22,000. So there is about 200 to 300 points upside on the daily chart for NDX. So with this, the initial part of the week could be bullish or could be an upward move, and then we can expect the corrections happening um, for the tech stocks which are tracked by Nasdaq 100. For RSI, it's at 67, and uh, at 70 it does face resistance. So for NDX, the upside is not as much as we could see on the SPX. So if you are not on the new positions, it would be better to wait and watch for correction to happen before entering. And the mid Bollinger Band on the daily chart close to 21,280 or 21,300 is a strong support. It has acted as support previously almost four times here and then about four times here. So the mid Bollinger Band level could act as a strong support. If we look on the weekly chart, there's a gap down, but that could take longer correction to happen. The nearest support to watch for is the mid Bollinger Band on the daily chart. If there's a negative sentiment in the market and we see market taking a bearish move, uh, wait for the mid Bollinger Band support to break. If it breaks, then uh, we could see this gap up when it acted as a support here. That could be the next support to look for, close to 20,800. And then eventually, if the downtrend continues further, we might be able to see this gap closure as well, which we see on the weekly chart. But it could take some time before this gap closes.
So, a couple quick questions. So, 20,800. That is whole week, or it can be on Monday, Tuesday.
20,000. Currently, it is at
7.
21,760.
Yeah.
Yeah. So touching the mid Bollinger Band, uh, it it depends upon the market sentiment.
Yeah.
Um, if there is some news, let's say between US and China deal on trade, uh, if it is not favorable, the market could drop over 500 points in a single day. So
Yeah.
it depends upon news primarily related to Trump that could have a much faster downside move. Otherwise, in terms of the bearish trend, typically around 10 to 15 candles, you can expect the mid Bollinger Band to reach.
Mhm.
So about 2 weeks time, 1 to 2 weeks time.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So we'll now move to a semiconductor index SOX. In the last week, it took support at the mid Bollinger Band and has moved up. As per Williams R, it is already in the overbought region. But if you see RSI, it has curved up and is currently at 56, indicating there is upside. And um, in terms of holding or booking your positions, if you are holding semiconductor stocks, based on the weekly trend, if you are on it for a medium to longer term, you could still hold. However, for those who are on it for a swing trade, for a short term or a swing trade, if you look on the daily chart, the high on Thursday, it almost touched the upper Bollinger Band, and on the last session, it has formed a red candle. The Williams R is above the overbought region, and RSI is almost touching close to 66. So it's reaching the overbought region even on RSI and Williams R. One difference compared to the SPX and NDX, if you see closely, and I was trying to zoom then mode, is that the upper Bollinger Band here, it has curved downwards. That indicates that for the daily trend, the correction is expected sooner. With the last session itself, it has formed a red candle, which is a pattern that it has formed, confirming a bearish move. So for those who have taken swing trade or a short term trade and have not booked your profits, it would be good to book your profits. For those who are on a medium to long term, the weekly trend is still strong. However, for swing trades and short term trades, it could be good to book your profits and watch for the level close to 4,731, which is a 200 EMA, which would be a strong support. Currently, it is above 5,000, so that would be about 300 points drop for it to reach that support level. If you are trading in a stock like NVDA or AMD or Broadcom, which moves faster, and you're okay with an early entry, then when it touches the mid Bollinger Band level close to 4,860 or even 4,900, you could enter in smaller quantity in case such stock, if it takes support and gets pulled up, you would have an entry, but enter in smaller quantity, so that if it breaks down the mid Bollinger Band support and it goes to 200 EMA, you can increase your positions at the lower price levels. Since there are almost 4 EMAs which are coming closer to the lower Bollinger Band and the 200 EMA level, that appears to be a stronger support on the weekly or on the daily chart. All right. Any questions on the semiconductor stock, or VXR, if you would like to add anything here?
Doing good. I think you're good. No additions.
Okay, great. All right. So with that, I'll change the tool. We'll see DJI, because the Webull doesn't show the Dow Jones. That's why I'm showing on Yahoo Finance. For DJI on the weekly chart, it has been on uptrend. Williams R is showing it's in overbought region. Let me add RSI indicator here as well. Yeah, RSI similar to what we saw for SPX and NASDAQ 100. RSI is close to 54, which still shows relative strength for upside on a weekly timeline. So for those who are hold onto it for medium to longer term, you could hold for few more weeks to over months. If we see on the daily chart, I'll zoom a bit here. On a daily chart, in the last session, it touched the upper Bollinger Band, and this week above the upper Bollinger Band shows that when it moved up, there was profit booking and selling pressure, causing it to close at the upper Bollinger Band level, which was a high, or which was the resistance level previously around mid of last month. The RSI is close to 61, which still shows some upside. Williams R is in overbought region, and because it is at the upper Bollinger Band and has had profit booking in the last session, although the body is green, but still, if you haven't booked your profit, it would be good to book profit in some portion. You could book profits from somewhere between 25 to 50% of your position, and um, then re-enter when it has correction on the daily chart. The mid Bollinger Band here is close to 42.9. The range here, let me zoom a bit. 42,000 is the mid Bollinger Band. Currently, it is at 42,762. So about 700 points if it corrects. Um, and if the mid Bollinger Band doesn't hold, which appears to be a weak support, then the next level to look for would be the 200 level here at this price line range here, close to 41,651. So which would be another 350 points. That would be the stronger support on a daily chart. Let's see if we see those levels on the weekly chart. On weekly chart, 41,800 is the mid Bollinger Band level. So that's about 1,000 points from where it is currently, and then this EMA along, there are two EMAs merging here close to 41,560. So that can be the support on a weekly basis if it corrects for uh, re-entry and then taking it further up. So from DJI's perspective, looking at the daily chart, short-term correction, and once it corrects and takes support at the mid Bollinger Band or at the uh, EMA here at close to 41,734, those could be the levels that you could watch for entering and holding it for the higher targets. Moving from the US indexes, now taking the TSX composite for the Canadian market. Let me take on the weekly chart. And, for TSX has been on a bullish trend, uh, and the upper Bollinger Band has been acting as the resistance on the weekly trend. Just yeah. So on a weekly trend basis, it is in the overbought region, at least from the RSI. The, sorry, on the indicators, for some reason the indicators are not showing it here properly. Let me reload. Yeah, so this is daily. All right. Uh, yeah, RSI is at 64.91, which still shows some upside. Although it's almost flattish, because if you see the move on the upside, it has been making green candle uh, in on the weekly basis, but the upside is getting narrower, and that's reflected on the RSI as well, with it's currently at 65, and Williams R is in overbought, and for MACD it's almost the slow and the fast line are almost merging. They haven't reversed down yet, indicating a reversal downward, but it's showing that there's uh, a saturation happening, or the market is getting on the buyer side, it's getting saturated, so we can start seeing selling pressure in the coming week, or profit booking happening in the coming week. If we see on the daily chart, even on the daily chart, the market has had very narrow movements, um, with uh, it has not formed a narrow channel yet, but the upside is limited, with the Bollinger Band acting as closer resistance on a daily trading basis. In some of the sessions that we have seen here, it has not touched the upper Bollinger Band levels, but the upper Bollinger Band can be seen as the resistance if you are currently holding the TSX stocks, especially those who are trading Shopify and the Canadian bank stocks. Um, if you would have entered sometime in April, you would be in good profit position. So it could be good time to book your profits, or hold with trailing stop losses. Um, Although the upside is not that much, but still, if you would like to hold some of your positions for higher targets, if you are swing trading, it would be good to book profits on your 75 to 80% of your positions, and wait for it to correct and re-enter. If it corrects, currently it is at 426, 429, and upper Bollinger Band is 26, 600. So about 170 or 180 points upside. And when it corrects, the mid Bollinger Band is at 26,000. So a drop of about 430 points. And if the mid Bollinger Band doesn't hold good, then look for lower Bollinger Band level around 25,400, which is about 1,000 points drop on TSX, and that could be the levels for swing traders, and for those who are planning to enter and hold for medium to longer terms. If uh, you are looking to trade on the stocks which are tracked by the TSX index. All right. Any questions on the Dow Jones or TSX?
No, Kamal.
Okay. All right. So Vivek sir has covered about Bitcoin. And for some reason, the charts are not loading. Vivek sir, are the Yahoo Finance charts loading properly for you?
Let me try. Which one do you want me to load? Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, yeah. Since you had covered, maybe if you already have
I
it
don't
open.
know. No, it is not already open, but I'll just scan it up.
All right. So meanwhile, I'll
Yes. You want day chart or you want weekly?
sir weekly and then daily.
Yeah, Bitcoin is opening up. Opened, but I have a lot of lines drawn. Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Sure, sir. So I'll just quickly finish with gold and crude oil, and then we can
Yeah.
come to you for Bitcoin.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So for those who are trading commodities or futures, for gold has been trading in the channel. If we look here around from mid of April until now, it has been trading in this channel close to 3,400 on the upside and on the downside here at, at 32,253. So between this 150 to 200 points, it has been trading on the sideways channel on a weekly basis. So with the last week red candle closing, um, it indicates that it can again drop down and touch the 32,253 level. Williams R has flattened. It has not turned down on the weekly chart. Let's see on the daily chart. On the daily chart, there is a clear confirmed downward reversal. Uh, the last four candles, it has had a uh, downward move, and the last candle specifically, if I zoom in, you can see that it's called bearish engulfing and with a higher volumes. So for those who are trading either gold futures or future options, uh, it looks good for taking put. Currently, the last price it has had is 33,331, and the nearest strike price, the mid Bollinger Band is 3310, but you could take a strike price of 33,000. And if you are planning to take further expiry, 32,230, the level that we were, the level closer to what we saw on the weekly chart. Um, that can be a good strike price, although it's about 100 points lower. But that could be a good put strike price to choose for if you are planning to hold longer or choose uh, an expiry of a little farther from the trading sessions. And because it's gold, it would start trading from today evening for those who are trading futures. So when it opens uh, at the open price, or even when it is at the uh, this EMA level here, which would be 33,000. Let me check here. It's not showing here. 33,350. That could be That's the 5 EMA. If it touches 33.50, it could be a good time to open a put trade with strike price of either 33,000 or 32,250 or 3,250. Right. So overall, in terms of the trend on the daily chart, it's clearer that it's taking a bearish trend. For crude oil since mid of April, it has been trying to recover from the uh, downward move that it had. Currently, it is almost at the mid Bollinger Band. Mid Bollinger Band is at 65. Uh, in the session starting today or early this week, we could expect it to touch 65. That would be the level that you could watch if it faces resistance at the mid Bollinger Band level or it breaks and moves further up. With the weekly trend, for those who are um, holding or planning to hold contracts for further expiry on a weekly basis, uh, it can have a bullish continuation, and the call strike price, if you are taking calls, would be 69 and 75, but for further expiry. And if you are trading for a nearer expiry, it has had a breakout on the daily chart, and the EMA here 65.41 would be the resistance. If you are not already on the trade, it might be difficult to get a uh, call with a good buy price. Uh, so for those who are already on the trade, it could be good to watch for this level for booking your profits, and then wait for minor correction to happen and then re-enter when it takes support around this level close to 62.50. Could be the level which you could watch for entering new position, at the 62.50 or the mid Bollinger Band level here at 62.18. All right, so crude oil looks attractive for a bullish move. With that, Vivek sir, I'll pass on to you for the Bitcoin and any other stock requests.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you can see my Bitcoin screen. That's not on your screen. Right.
Yes.
Lovely. This Bitcoin chart is a daily chart. Let me start with the weekly chart first for you. This is the weekly chart. Right. Two things first. For the past 5 weeks, Bitcoin is moving in a very small, narrow range. Right. With the peak being at about approximately 1 lakh or 111,000 or 112,000. The high, which is done on 18th of May, and the low of the previous week was 103,000. Or sorry, 100,000. Currently trading at 106, 350. If you ask me personally, it is currently trailing above the 8 moving average, and the 8 moving average is ascending upwards. The 20 is below. The super trend has just turned green and is climbing. MACD negative crossover about to happen, but I am not expecting it to happen over here immediately. This also happens to be a double top across. If you look at this, there is one top here, second top here, and third top around the same range. Let me mark that for you. There are three tops you can see over here clearly, and it is near the one of the top lines. The first top is this range, and the second top is here. It is near a double top. The CCI has just curved down at 78 or 79, but I'm looking at moving averages, I'm looking at super trend, and I'm looking at the Bollinger Band. After a small squeeze, it is expanding and expanding upward. I am expecting an up move in Bitcoins on a weekly basis. On a day chart, if you look at it, the last week has again been a very narrow range of movement. And if you look at the narrow range of movement in the day chart, the upper targets are very clearly identified at about 108,000 or 109,000. This is the level I'm expecting it to touch. The candlesticks for the day chart are very clearly is a reversal, and you've seen a clean reversal happening on top. In case if 107,000 is removed or 107,000 is taken out, breached, 109,000 is clearly on the cards, and then thereafter 111. Bitcoin is clearly indicating this. CCI on the day chart is definitely on the way up, and so is the MACD. So weekly may be sideways, but on the day chart, it is clearly indicating 109,000 first target and 112 or 111 second target. Provided 107,000 gets taken out on a closing basis. On a clear closing basis, 107 has to be taken out. We are approximately about $650 away. Clear? Any questions now? Any questions, guys? We have covered most of the indices. We have covered Bitcoin. We have covered crude. We have covered gold. Do you have any special requests for some stocks? You can let me know. Sure.
Yeah. Vishar has added YTSL and VOO, and there's
Let's
a
do that.
request of HOOD, HOOD.
I'll just take that. Give me the codes again. YTSL.
Yeah, YTSL. Yeah,
That's Tesla.
Yeah, in Canadian.
All right. Tesla has just given you a negative super trend journey. So you are expecting it to go further down. First target on the way down will be something near 1450. Currently rolling at about 1778. First target at around 1450. Super trend has just turned negative and come down. The last candle, however, is an inside candle on a Marubazu, but I'm still expecting it to go down because MACD has clearly turned bearish. So look for it to go down till 1450 at least. That's the first target. That also happens to be a big, strong daily support, which has been tested on 3 earlier occasions also. Way back over here in October, on in March, then again in April, again April 22nd, and now again sometime in this week it should get tested. Currently at 17, either this week or next week, possibly I think next week it should get tested. 14, 1450, 14.5 it should get tested. That's Tesla for you. Which is the next one? If you have any questions, please unmute and ask me. Kamal, which is the next one?
VOO.
VOO.
Sir, V.
Oh, sorry, why this is why I mentioned.
Yeah.
Vanguard?
Yeah, that's the S&P ETF.
You already taken S&P. This is the ETF.
Yeah.
The analysis will remain same as S&P.
Yeah, you can just quickly cover.
S&P, if you look at it, this is a weekly chart. Super 10 has just turned green, bullish. However, I am playing it safe because it is at its peak of 561. You are currently trading at 550.60. The peak is somewhere near 561, which is over here. 561, 86, 562. That is the peak over here. So there is one peak here, second peak here. These are weekly peaks. So an uptrend, a third top of 560 can be seen, but there would be selling pressure immediately over there. Why is the selling pressure expected? Because CCI, like RSI and like Williams-R, will come into an overbought position. So then it could correct at 560, around 560, 562. Currently at 550, small leeway of another about $10, $12 is on the card because the channel is green, has not yet flattened, and after a narrow range, it expanded and again running into a narrow sideways market. So that is the weekly chart. On the day chart, very clearly in a very narrow range. Very clearly in a very narrow range. Right? So, as given to you on your weekly targets, this is also running in the same account. 560, 562 is what I would look at as the upper target for Vanguard. Vanguard S&P 500. That is a GOOG. Any question on this, or shall I go to the next tradable instrument?
Yeah, we can go to the next one. Next is HOOD Hood. So it's for Robinhood trading platform. It was anticipated to be added to S&P 500, which it did not make it in the last session. So that's a negative news, and in aftermarket it has dropped close to 5%.
Clear. Very clear. Negative news. Last session it was not to be done, but 3 sessions prior, he started giving you 3 red candles. And look at CCI curving down, and look at MACD also. So expect it, if it comes down, your support will be somewhere over here around 62.50, which also happens to be at 65. your mid Bollinger Band. This is the day chart. So look to buy around 65 or 62.50. In the buying range for this will be 62.50, 65. With a stop loss of the 34 moving average, which is at this point of time 58. Anybody buying Robinhood, your buying price should be around 65, stop loss of 58, and then go for an upper target back to the target if you're expecting a bounce. But that is only if the 20 moving average holds, which it has been holding for quite some time. The next counter,
SOXS.
this you already covered.
SOXS. Yeah. So this is inverse of SOX. SOX is the primary index. This is the inverse ETF of that.
So exactly opposite of what you have already covered.
Yeah.
Flat market hardly moving.
Sir, because of if you see, the problem is because it's an inverse ETF. High,
Yes.
if you see, high is 81,200. So you will have to zoom in to see the movement.
Even if I zoom in, this is on a day chart.
Yeah.
I can now only zoom in for an hourly chart now.
Yeah, you will have to take on a 4 hour or a hourly chart.
So
For inverse ETF, this is
anybody wanting to trade this, it's a risky trade coming in just now, but it is hardly moving. From this height of 50, it's now down to about 10. It's already lost 80% of its value. So anybody wanting to buy this, you can buy it definitely. 80% down, 80% erosion has already happened within the last 1.5 months.
Yeah, I'm planning to take an entry. So
Yeah. So if you're planning to do it,
1067.
but
Yeah.
it's a risk. Well, it's a bearish counter. So that means you're expecting the semiconductor industry to
correct.
Okay.
correct further. Only then will this move up.
Yeah, and which is a possibility, sir, with Trump giving some negative news
So
on the tariff.
that is basically you are playing with. Well, if you can want to buy it, you can buy it because it is at its rock bottom. So I mean, I will not go against that topic, but then I would like to see a clear reversal before I think of entering it. Because if I buy it at 10, what target are you looking at? Is the first thing that I'll ask you.
I'm planning to like maybe 12 to be sell off.
Yeah. So yeah, so if you put on 1 hour chart, you will see that
Yeah.
it does move.
This is a 1 hour chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 12 is a good target, even with the current price. So yeah, maybe
So
sell on.
your buying price should be around 1030 or 1040, and selling price should be around 11, not even 12.
Yeah,
Oh,
11.
okay.
Not even 12, 11.
11.
Because
Okay.
this is the clear cut resistance levels over here.
Yeah,
Your
it comes many
Bollinger Band
times.
itself is 11. Your
You are
Bollinger Band
right.
is 11. Your 34 moving average is at 11.15. So, no, it's not going to go up. And
Oh,
the super trend is also just turned green because he can't really go below this.
mhm.
So, the buying price should be around 1030 or 1025, 1030, 1050. Currently at 1080. So, you wait for another about 30-cent correction and then go take it for a target of about 11.
Yeah, it touched base many times 11. So I
Yeah,
think
so on a
definitely.
1 hourly chart basis, yes.
Yeah.
On a 1 hourly chart basis, yes. So you will get approximately about 0.7 or 70 cents.
Yeah.
70 cents profit on an hourly basis. So possibly in about 2 days' time, you could get that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Which is the
So next one is Apple AAPL.
Apple CCI has just started climbing. MACD also just started climbing, crossing over. The best thing is the super trend has turned flat. So currently at 204, super trend target says 223. I would say 220. Upper trend target is 220, but if you look at the candlestick patterns, the pattern resistance level is 212. So it's a trade from 204 to 212. My buying price for Apple could be anything at 194 or at 200. This is a weekly chart. Check this on daily. And you see a very clear narrow movement of the price. Very narrow movement of the price. Right? Now, off late, if you look at Apple, the president has been giving a lot of tough time to Apple during his tweets. The price is moving between 191 and 213. 190 and 213, 214. That is the price movement, but a very narrow band movement. Sideways market for the last 1.5 months. The Bollinger Band is completely squeezed off. Look at the distance of Bollinger Band ballooning here and look at the distance over here. Completely squeezed. Very, very, very narrow movement. Now, if you look at the Bollinger Band movement here, this Bollinger Band on the last day today is between 194 and 215. So exactly $20 movement is the Bollinger Band movement. And the price is exactly at the mid Bollinger level. So they are going to be confronting the president and then the price of this will move in one direction. So if you have to trade this Apple, you should be looking to buy this around 195 or 190, anything between 194 and 195, and getting out of it at between 211 and 230. But at this point of time, no trade zone. So wait for it to come to your levels and then look to get out. However, if somebody is very, very keen to take a trade, if it crosses 207, then take a trade for 214. Because that would mean the super trend has turned positive. If 207 gets breached upward, our next target is 214, 213, 214. This is on a day chart. You want to check it on the hourly chart? That's it. 200, 205. 200 and 205. Now, the hourly chart clearly tells me that the price could come down to 202 or 201.50. So that is the place to buy if you want. 201, 202 is the place to buy, and 204, 205 place to sell. You will get approximately about 2% return within a matter of a day or two.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So next is PLTR.
One second. PLTI.
R.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No. So this has been, sir, one kind of a growth stock. So if you see on a longer term, it has had a gradual upside, and in terms of business as well, the company is growing. So as of now, I think Vivek has requested, probably because it is about to take have correction. So maybe he might be looking to know
The
the
weekly
buyer.
chart. It's a weekly chart and it talks about the last 5 or 6 weeks, working between a range of about 115 to about 130. A $15 range between 115 to 130. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 weeks. Last 1.5 months. 115 to 130. 30 is the range it is taking on. Climbing, yes. The 8 moving average, the blue line is climbing, but the last trade is touching the blue line, which is 8 moving average. So I don't want to enter this trade just now, if you ask me. I would rather enter the trade somewhere near the mid Bollinger Band of either 105 or 110. I could enter around 110 with 106 as my, or 100 as my stop loss for a target of about 130 on a weekly account. On a day range, now the day range is very clearly again sideways and narrow range market. Look at it right from this date onwards, from 14th of May to date. That's almost going to be a month, about 3 weeks now. 134 and 118, and the super trend has just turned bearish, and you have an inside candle to a Maruba zone. Vivek, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Right? There is an inside candle to a Marubazu, but the best advantage, if you ask me, is if I would buy it here at the close of 127, I know my target of 135 is definitely on cards. 134, 135 is definitely on cards. But
Yes, sir.
way to buy, I would buy it at around the low of the second last candle, which happens to be about 119. And that also happens to be a 34 moving average touch. So you buy around 34 moving average at about 120 for a target of 134. 130, 132 to be precise.
Yes, sir.
The CCI is curving up, which is giving me some leeway. MACD is not, but MACD is above the zero line. But what is actually tempting me, if you ask me, is the last candle, which is this group. The green candle after the Marubazu is actually negated the effect of Marubazu, and that is the reason why, along with the super trend flattening, the upper target of 133 is clearly seen. That would be approximately about another about $5 from here,
Sure, sir.
right?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Which is the next?
Okay. So the last request for the day is ENB.
ENB.
And yeah, Enbridge. Yeah,
Enbridge.
.to. You can take .to.
.TO.
Yeah,
Anyway, he's got USD on, so I'll take ENB
second.
second one. Hmm. All right. Weekly chart, super trend bullish, but this is near its highs, recent highs. The recent high is 64.70 around that time, and you are currently at 64.30, 64.70, 63.70. So there would be a major supply coming in at around 64, 65. Right? CCI is curving down. Let's see the daily chart. Any news on this?
I haven't tracked. So, Zia, who is on the call, she has requested.
Yeah, but we used to do in ENB earlier. All right. The day chart is, of course, looking very bad. But again, very narrow movements. Look at the Bollinger Band squeeze happening. The ballooning and the squeeze happening. And in the squeeze, the last four candles are all red candles. So three black crows clearly on, but within the three black crows is within the fifth green Marubazu candle. All these candles are within the Marubazu candle. CCI clearly slanting down. Volumes have reduced, keeping in mind that it is near its lifetime high. It is near its peak so far, which is why the volumes are reducing. There's a high probability it will come down. And the super trend is bearish. Though it is flattish, but it is bearish. Any movement in this, if you want to take a move for a bullish move, it will have to be above $65 only. You will buy above 65 if it breaks above 65 on a closing basis with a clear stop loss of 60 $60 or $63. But that will be a very short trade because if it goes up, it will definitely come back to test. If it breaks this portion, this super trend level, if it breaks this level, it will go up, but will definitely come back to test this. So you will buy it above 66 level with a very strict stop loss because you know it will be a short trade, it will come back to test. Or you wait for it to come back to test and then buy it. Because if it comes back to test and then it will go up, it will go up like this. Does that answer you?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else? Any more requests?
Yes, sir, I have a request.
Bolo, sir.
Sir, Lululemon, LULU.
LU?
LU. Yeah.
LULU.
Planning to enter, but not now. Once.
Planning to enter.
I mean, if you see on a weekly chart, it had a great fall.
A great fall happened just.
I mean,
It also was a gap down
yeah,
opening on Friday.
yeah. I haven't entered. I'm
On a
planning.
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You're currently here. 256.
Yeah. I mean, it has a Canadian version also, but
Well, all right. Let's look at USD and then look at Canada also. Now, where would you like to buy this? You would like to buy it somewhere around either 240
Yeah.
or around here at 220.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
low of this candle, which is 226. So 226 or the low of this red candle, which is 234. So between 230 and 226 is where you should think of buying it. Why? Because this has already done a double dip.
Mm-hmm.
Two bottoms have already been formed on weekly chart. So if it touches 230 or 235, look to buy and take a trade straight for target of 321. But not immediately, because the first target will be 277 and then the 20 moving average and then the 34 moving average. But the 34 and 20 are very close to each other. 34 is 312 and 330 is 34. 20 is 312, 330 is 20. But these are weekly targets. So this will take ages for you to achieve. On a daily chart, it has just turned bearish. So please enjoy the trend down. Enjoy the
Yeah. I'm
trend
just waiting
down
for watching. That's it. Yeah.
and wait. It's currently at 265, so you should be looking to buy not before 240 at least. If you really want to buy, 240 is the first buying price over here, which was April low.
Okay, sir.
240 to 42. So either 235 or 240 is your choice.
Sure, sir.
But these are daily charts, and this is a big gap down.
Yeah.
Right? Lovely. You also want me to check Lulu on TSX?
I mean, it's gonna be the same Lulu, the Neo that you see there. Next one, second one.
Almost similar topics. 10 down,
Yeah.
CCI down, MACD giving you the same, and this is clearly down. Weekly charts are clearly down.
Buying volume has come in, but like still not great.
Buying price on
Now the volume has turned a little bit green, but
volume has gone down because of sale. So that means they sold it heavily.
okay.
And the last candle was very small because of the green, because people have bought. After the big fall,
Yeah.
on a weekly fall, they bought.
Mm-hmm.
But the buying price is actually around 10, 10.5.
Perfect.
10.5 or 10.75 is where I would like to buy it.
Sure.
Yes, 10.75. So if you're buying it on in the Canadian markets, 10.75 is where you could think about buying it. Again, first target 1275 and thereafter 14. And last will be 15.
Sure, sir.
Right? All right. Anybody else? Any more queries?
I think we have
Sir, do
covered.
you want to look at Google once, sir? If that's okay. GOOG, Google.
Google?
Yeah.
Yeah, Google was requested. Yes, sir. We'll take this as the last analysis for the day, as we have been almost close to 6 hours on a call.
GOO?
GOOG, sir. Yeah, the first one. It seems to be at a very nice buy price, though it has a resistance, but we feel it might go up to the higher, like the upper Bollinger Band.
All right. Google, this is a weekly chart, right? First things first, lower Bollinger Band is curving up. MACD has curved up, crossed, and just entered the zero line above the positive territory. CCI is climbing since a long time, currently at about 120. Weekly chart, price above the 8 moving average, so it is bullish. But the only point is that the super trend is, the negative super trend has turned flattish, and which is why it is there in front of you at this level, 178. Now, minute it crosses 179 on a closing basis, which it could very comfortably, your next target prices are clearly identified as 194 and 206. Provided this gets taken out at 178 on a closing basis, 178, 179 on a closing basis. If it gives you a breakout in a positive direction, which I am expecting it to give on a weekly chart, you should see the upper targets. Check them out on the day chart. And a clear uptick here is seen. CCI curving, still going up. MACD in the positive territory, and you can go up. And super trend has turned greenish and going up. If this breaks out, upper targets are clearly known to you. But again, ballooning, squeeze, and now the ballooning is about to start or has just started off. So Aditya, if you're looking to buy at this price, look to buy it around 170.
Yeah, sure, sir. I think this is something which you wanted to give for our team members sometime next week.
Yeah, so you can buy this around 170 with a clean stop loss of 164 or 163. Buy at 170, stop loss of 163. That's a $7 stop loss. Targets I've already given you. Targets I've already given you.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Right? Most welcome. Now I know what Kamal will do. Kamal will start looking at the options of Google.
No, sir, that's what we were looking at, to be honest. So this week, I think, in fact, thanks to Vishal, he was looking at this stock, and then that is what we felt.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
right.
Yeah. Sir, thank you, sir, for covering the analysis. It has been a long day especially for you. So we'll close it off here. Thanks for those who joined for this analysis session. Hopefully the analysis that we shared in this session helps you to plan your trades in the coming week and you make profitable trades. Feel free to share your trades in the GMT groups. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. And we'll see you all in the GMT analysis session next week. With that, wish you all a profitable week. Thanks again.
Have a great week ahead.
Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks, Vishal and Kamal.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.